This video is brought to you by Master Ficus. Master Ficus has an interesting channel on YouTube, and while I don't agree with all his opinions, mainly on Fallout, I actually thought it was an excellent show. He does present his case in a very thoughtful way that I definitely appreciate. And he is definitely way more familiar with the games than I am, so he has that going for him. I highly recommend you check out his channel. It'll be linked below.
I'm so sorry. But now the majority of the internet, had a good laugh about it, made even more jokes, and then
it might be a majority of the internet because they bred this online culture war garbage that a lot of people just take seriously, which is frustrating. Like I said, I think I talked about earlier in the stream. Like, I now know, because after this Trump win, a lot of people have gotten way more out there with this stuff and learning that, like, a lot of people that I would consider friends actually think something like libs of TikTok is something to take seriously and just reporting the facts. And it's like they've made this entire culture war bubble, and they've got so many people wrapped up in it. It's part of the reason why Trump won, let's be honest. I know somebody was asking about Brett Cooper. Let's see if there's something interesting from Brett Cooper. So I don't think I've ever actually covered her. Oh, why she voted for Donald Trump? Yeah, she voted for Donald Trump because she is a plant for the Daily Wire. I was kind of more interested in media takes here. Oh, we can go over this, the Wicked fan edit thing. I never did cover that. That was pretty bad. She'll probably go over the pictures, so we will see what she says. I remember it's kind of stumbling into this and looking it up.
Listen, guys, I am about fed up with the nonsense. The narcissistic, pulling problems straight out of your ass to feel important nonsense today is not the day.
I am having a very bad day. I am in no mood.
I already ranted about the Kamala Harris-Bret Baier interview right before filming this, and yet I cannot talk about this story. I am already heated. I am already sweating because it is so dumb. It is so dumb and narcissistic. To get into this, as you guys probably know, or you're about to hear it, I am a proud former theater kid. I'm sorry, I know, but I'm sure most of you guys are not surprised. But the first musical that I ever saw on Broadway was Wicked, like many people. I have been intrigued by the new musical film that's coming out starring Ariana Grande. There's that whole story with her and one of the co-stars and breaking up marriages. We've already talked about that. There's a lot of tea that has been going on behind the scenes in this movie. So I'm interested in that, obviously. But I'm also interested because I love Wicked. But after the ridiculous story that I'm going to tell you guys today, I literally do not think that I could bear to watch this film because the actress who was playing Elphaba, aka the Wicked Witch, just ruined the entire thing for me and fans everywhere. And it's because she desperately wants to be a victim of racism.
Oh, shit. Here we go again.
Before we dive into the story, though, make sure that you like this video, subscribe to the comment section channel if you've not already, and of course, hit that notification bell to stay up to date on all of our episodes. All right, just so we are all on the same page.
Just so you know, yes. Make sure to do that here. Don't do that for her. Do that for me.
Let's watch a little teaser of the trailer for the new film.
Are people born wicked?
Why?
Like, undeniably cool if you love the musical.
Have wickedness thrust upon them.
And the production design looks sick.
Something has changed.
Ugh, so good. I want to hate it so much.
She doesn't give a twink what anyone thinks.
Also, I just want to say, there was a little moment back there where she had the hat on and there were shadows over her eyes. Remember that, because that's iconic and it is very important to what we are about to discuss. Okay, thank you.
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
I'm not afraid.
Ugh, it honestly looks so sick. That's the thing.
It's the wizard who should be afraid of me.
Ugh. The woman playing Elphaba is an incredible singer. Now, obviously, I have been, a bit skeptical. I'm a purist because I love the original musical, but I was interested. I was excited. I liked the trailer. I was happy that they hired a real Broadway star to play Elphaba, not just some, random Hollywood actress who would not be able to sing those songs because they are just incredible and iconic.
She is an actress who has experience in Hollywood. She's done movies before. This is not her first movie. Okay.
But like I said, yesterday, she went and ruined so much of the magic.
I'm kind of surprised why she hasn't said her name. It's Cynthia Erivo, by the way.
And it all started with a poster, because about 10 days ago, the production released a set of posters and stills from the movie, and one of the things that they put out was a recreation of the now iconic Broadway musical poster that has obviously become synonymous with the show. Pop Base posted about this. Ariana Grande and Cynthia Erivo recreate the iconic Wicked Broadway poster. And, people went wild and went viral. Like, they were genuinely excited and pumped because everything is starting to feel real. The movie's about to come out. It looks beautiful. The production design looks amazing. The costumes look beautiful. She looks like she painted her entire body with rough greens, which is exactly what she should look like, and also what my dog's faces look like every single morning after they eat their breakfast, because they love their rough greens.
She just went into an ad read, didn't she? Like, I was wondering if she was gonna do an ad, but then I was like, she just kept on going. It's like, holy shit, we're doing an ad read. Really, really selling your brand respect here. Jesus Christ. That's a nice chunk of the video,
and
too.
then your dogs and your cats can be twinning with Elphaba, which actually would be kind of a fun promotion. Referees, you should do that. But people were also pointing out that they didn't really get the recreation exactly right. And so, just for fun...
Oh. In case you're wondering, I think they've taken it down. There used to be a video talk about how they built this whole set. This is all just a set. This is all AstroTurf shit.
Literally just for...
Brett Cooper. She is one of the correspondents for Daily Wire.
Shits and giggles, and for their own enjoyment and happiness, they edited this new movie poster to look more like the original. Just watch. Okay, they're adding the shadow, which again, we saw in the trailer. Iconic, covering her eyes, very mysterious, literally in the movie, in the poster, and then they're changing the lips. And then they're editing her mouth to give her more of a smirk, which is just so iconic, in my opinion, and tells us so much about her character because, she's not born wicked. That is the entire point of the musical. She's funny, she's endearing, and the smirk tells us that. And what they did in this new poster is kind of just make her look a little more abrasive and angry. And then they just moved Ariana Grande's hand up to make it look more like the original, like hiding her face. They added the hair that's in the original, all of that. Basic stuff just to make it look like the Broadway poster. There you go. It was for everyone's personal enjoyment. And it's, harmless, right? And people liked it, simply because it was what they knew. They loved that her eyes were hidden, making her more mysterious. They loved the smirk. All fine and good. Or so we thought. Now, this new version of the poster quickly made the rounds on social media, made its way to X, made its way to Instagram, with everyone sharing the same harmless sentiments. Somebody said, how is it that random people on the internet can do such better jobs than people who are actually hired and paid to do this? This is great, fantastic.
Well, I can tell you one. Well, we'll get to what the actual issue is with that edit here in a moment. But because when it explains, like, oh, that makes sense. That's not great. But yeah, the people. I will also say this: frequently when they do posters, part of the actor's contract, that you can see their faces. That's part of how that works.
Somebody else said, whoever did it, thank you, because not gonna lie, it was bothering me. Somebody said, I like it more, I don't know. Somebody else said, I love this version so much better, OMG. But someone did not like this at all. And not the photographer, not the graphic designer who made the creative choices, but the woman playing Elphaba, aka Cynthia. Because as a Black woman, it was very, very triggering to feel erased.
Excuse me, what?
Literally. That is what she said. This is what she posted on her Instagram story yesterday. This is the wildest, most offensive, guys, most offensive thing I have seen, equal to that awful AI of us fighting. They made an AI of them fighting in the poster. Was not really a big deal. Equal to the people posting the question, is your blank green? That was a meme, kind of explicit. Don't need to go into that. None of this is funny. None of it is cute. It degrades me. It degrades us. The original poster is an illustration. I am a real-life human being who chose to look right down the barrel of the camera to you, the viewer, because without words, we communicate with our eyes. The point of it is that you don't see her eyes because she's mysterious. The point is that she's kind of not communicating with you. Thank you very much. She goes on and she says, our poster is an homage, not an imitation. To edit my face and hide my eyes away is to erase me. And that is just deeply hurtful. Girl.
So, will she do a side-by-side? If she doesn't do a side-by-side, I'll go over it. But, when it's actually kind of explained why this poster, that fan edit, it's kind of questionable. Why they did specifically what they did here. Let's do, probably somebody's probably done an image. All right, so here's the image, the movie poster they released versus the original poster from the Broadway musical that they were copying. As you can see, kind of the hat kind of covers her eyes. But yes. And then here's the fan edit that Cynthia Erivo was criticizing, where we see essentially it's kind of the same image, except they've shaded her eyes and they made her lips bigger and redder and bit more of a thing. You know, off top of my head, it's like, okay, like I don't. I mean, I think it's worth noting that the hat covers her eyes before, and it's not just shadow. And it is kind of noteworthy to kind of blank out her face. It does look kind of bad to just blank out her face. But the excuse for making this fan image was to be more accurate to the original. Now, just to throw this out at you guys, do you notice what the issue is with making it more accurate to the original? Why that argument doesn't quite hold water with me? I'll give you guys a couple seconds to look at it. So there's the fan edit. We got the original on this side. What is it that makes me think they weren't just focused on making it look like the original? It doesn't stick out really quickly, but when you know, like, actually you could see the difference between the original and the other. Dean just nailed it. They didn't do anything to Ariana Grande. Ariana Grande is just right there. The only person added here, for some reason, is the black actress. Like, if you really wanted to make it accurate, why don't you add, like, the hat and, like, the obvious, like, white clothing she's wearing and make her hair super white? Why edit the black actress out? That's why it's kind of like, yeah, that is really fucking sus. That's really fucking sus. Now, did this person edit it that way with that in mind? Maybe not, but, like, it might just be like a subconscious bias or something like that. But it's like, yeah, you number one, I don't even know if I'd necessarily say it's more accurate, because, like, this Ariana Grande is just right there. And it is interesting. Like, let's cover up the black woman, but the white woman's still right there, even though they're both pretty well covered up in the original image. It's very sus. And it's like, okay, I get where she's coming from. I really do.
What? It is called a fan edit? People do that. They make memes, they tell jokes, they write fan fiction. That is kind of the game. If you are a public figure doing a very, very public thing, people are going to comment on it and they are going to create based on what you are doing.
No, unacceptable.
This is not an attack on you or your face. Like, I am genuinely exhausted with this. This just screams.
I mean, she's just pointing out how essentially she's the star of the movie, and that fan edit kind of just covered her up. It's kind of like, what the hell?
I'm insufferable. I'm a victim. Please pay attention to me. Thankfully, very much thankfully for the state of our culture and our society, people were incredibly taken aback by this, understandably so, because again, it's not that deep. Somebody said, it's not that serious, and then posted that one friend that's too woke. Somebody else said, communicate with our eyes. Meanwhile, the smile and hiding the face says way more than anything else she's telling us. Sure, but do not let her hear that. She will make another post directed at you. Somebody else said, if that's the most offensive thing
Yeah, guys, we're just gonna cherry pick some comments to show that you got owned.
she's ever seen. Good for her. She has had a great life. Exactly. It is creating fake problems to feel more important and relevant. And all that does is just fester anger and division in our society. It is misleading, it is wrong, and it is selfish on a very, very broad scale. Rob Smith said, God, I am tired of her. She is a talent, but I am very tired of her. If I don't see this movie, it is because of her. I am so very tired of her. Same, Rob. Same.
Yeah, how dare she point out that she doesn't like being completely covered up when Ariana Grande is pretty much should be covered up in a very similar way, but just isn't. Just interesting.
Another girl said, real Broadway stans have known that Cynthia Erivo is both insanely talented and so insufferable. Once she went off on a whole tangent about how she's too good to ever be an ensemble member because someone fan casted her.
We're just going over random comments. Cool, bro, awesome.
As a muse in a pretend Hercules live action. Because a fan did something. Like, this girl spends way too much time searching herself on X, is what I am learning. It's like she's this generation's Barbara Streisand. Just
the fan edit just go viral, by the way. Just FYI.
Yelling at audiences anytime she gets. Like, Cynthia seriously needs to care less about what fan edits make of her. Poop Crave posted and said, imagine you're a Wicked musical fan eagerly waiting for the movie and you just wanted to make the poster aesthetically pleasing and closer to the original just for the star to call you racist. I mean, welcome to 20.
You're taking that from an account called Poop Crave. Poop Crave. Okay.
24. And then last one that I just have to share because it had me rolling this morning. This guy said, going to the store, y'all want anything? A picture included so as not to erase Cynthia Erivo. Is this good enough for you, Cynthia? Are you happy? You're not being erased now. We're all staring down the barrel of your eyes everywhere I turn on social media to try and make you happy.
Remember who the star is? Me, Bender.
The one good thing to come out of all of this is seeing that people are over the BS. Because literally 4 years ago, everyone who saw her post would have been on their knees repenting for their racist transgressions. Oh, I'm listening and learning, Cynthia.
I don't think so. 4 years ago, no. She's just making a point about how she was covered up, and Ariana Grande is just right there. You know, if you want it to be accurate, why don't you make it more accurate? Instead, you're just covering up me, which, yeah, does seem kind of personal.
I'm so sorry. But now the majority of the internet, had a good laugh about it, made even more jokes, and then
it might be a majority of the internet because they've bred this online culture war garbage that a lot of people just take seriously, which is frustrating. Like I said, I think I talked about earlier in the stream. Like, I now know, because after this Trump win, a lot of people have gotten way more out there with this stuff and learning that, like, a lot of people that I would consider friends actually think something like libs of TikTok is something to take seriously and just reporting the facts. And it's like they've made this entire culture war bubble and they've got so many people wrapped up in it. It's part of the reason why Trump won, let's be honest. It's insane.
They moved on. And that is the way that it should be. Stop feeding into these self-obsessed, victimizing theatrics, because that's really what it is.
It's a good point, Crawling Chaos. Why isn't Brett Cooper out making dinner or something? Why is she doing a job? That's weird. She's not being very traditional at all.
And it only hurts our culture more. Well, guys, I hope you liked this.
Pointing out the hypocrisy is hurting the culture? Okay. Yeah, no, but I mean, that's normally why you get from these guys. They're going to get so offended that, oh my God, they just want to make the poster more accurate to the original. And it's like, why are they editing out the black woman and then leaving the white woman just there? And of course these guys aren't going to point out that fact, aren't going to point out the fact that, like, hey, maybe that is a little sus. And maybe it was just the person's unconscious bias. I'm not willing to say, like, this person who made this edit's like a super racist or anything. But I think there's probably an unconscious bias that, like, maybe they should address. But of course, yeah, you got all these chuds defending them for that. Yeah, it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. And actually researching this stuff so you can have a nuanced take on it, it gets very tricky. It's very, very tricky. You don't want to go that far. You don't want to actually research stuff so you can have a nuanced take and actually go, maybe she has kind of a point. Maybe they shouldn't, like, just cover up the black actress. And that you can even see, like, here's the interesting thing about this. Like, her face, there's more detail in her face on this. And, like, they fuzz up her face for reasons. It's kind of an interesting thing. It's a weird fan edit. And like I said, I'm not saying the person who did it is, like, doing it because they hate black people. I'm saying it's probably unconscious bias that they should probably be aware of. Well, Mikael, there's actually lots of reasons. And what you're explaining is actually not Not, I would say that's not zero as to its impact as well. There's lots of impacts, but like, and I think I'll bring it up again. I think sexism played a role. I think Kamala Harris, even though she came in late, I think she did a much better campaign than Joe Biden did in 2020. But yet 10 million Democrats didn't come out and vote for her. It's wild. It is absolutely wild.
Books, records, films, these things matter. Call me shallow. It's the fucking truth.